Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I'm from New Jersey. I was born to loving parents just 3 years after my older sister, Aurora. The whole family celebrated my birth, and Aurora and I were inseparable. She always had me glued to her, and we did everything together. But as I got older, our parents realized something was wrong with me. I couldn't hear them. I only reacted if they spoke really loudly or really close to me. They rushed me to the doctor, and we found out that I had a problem in my ears that made me nearly 70% deaf. A surgery would fix this issue, but I had to be much older to go through it safely. So I grew up deaf in a world full of sound. While Aurora enjoyed music, laughter, and went to school like everyone else, my parents decided to homeschool me with an army of special tutors.
There's schools for kids just like her?
Yes, but she's our special girl, and we want to give her all our attention.
Aurora had a life I dreamed of every day. She got to have heaps of friends while I was too scared to talk to the kids in my neighborhood. I once got jealous watching Aurora dance to music. My parents went out of their way to make me feel better. They bragged about me all the time.
Scarlett is beautiful, and she's a genius. She did her speech therapy in record time.
Mom, I topped my entire grade. Look at my report card.
That's nice, dear. Scarlett can lip read too, you know. Show them. It's such a fun game.
I got ready to show off my skills, but Aurora suddenly got up, threw her report card on the table, and ran into her room. What was the matter with her? I was too wrapped up in my life to understand it. But Aurora started having little meltdowns all the time. She hated that my parents always let me choose our vacation spots, choose where to eat, and bought me anything I pointed at. When Aurora asked for the same things, my parents just told her to share mine.
That's not fair. Why can't I have what she has?
We can share. I have like 100 clothes.
I'm talking to Mom.
I didn't want Aurora to hate me, so I sent her some pretty dresses as a gift. She sent them back to me, all cut up in pieces. Are you kidding me? When I reached the 7th grade, I was finally ready to get my surgery, and all my parents could do was worry about it. Even I was a little scared, but Aurora couldn't care less. She was a school topper and a cheerleader now. She was also best friends with the richest girl in town, Kat. Her dad was so powerful, he employed half the adults here. Aurora spent all her time lounging in Kat's huge pool house. Even though Kat was the worst, she was super mean and controlling. She even gave her friends strict guidelines on how to dress. One time, Aurora wore the wrong shoes with an evening dress, and her friends ditched her. Kat is a moron. You shouldn't be friends with her.
Mind your own business, turd.
I still hoped that Aurora and I would be normal sisters after my surgery. But the day I went to the hospital, she didn't even show up. I went into the hospital with my heart burning with anger. If Aurora didn't care about me, then I didn't care about her anymore. When I woke up from surgery, I couldn't stop weeping. My parents' voices, the doctor's voices, and my own voice. Everything was setting me off. It took time and effort, but with my parents' support and therapy, I slowly got used to living in a sea of sound. On my first day of joining regular school, my heart was hammering. I'd literally taken my first few steps into the hallway when I saw the most beautiful girl in the entire world just casually standing by the lockers. She was looking right at me, and her mouth was moving. I read her lips without even trying. Did you just say I'm pretty?
What? How did you hear that?
I have good ears. I'm Scarlett.
I'm Marina.
I shook her hand, and my heart wanted to dance. She was actually going to be in my classes. School was exciting. It was a little weird making friends when I could still lip read. I was only 40% accurate, but that was enough to accidentally see some awkward things. I just pretended I knew nothing. But one day I saw 2 of our teachers talking, and I couldn't help but stare. They were talking about giving us a surprise test tomorrow. Well, it wouldn't be fair if I just prepared alone, right? So I told everyone in my class what was going to happen. Marina looked really surprised.
But how did you know?
I can lip read, just a little bit. I used to be deaf.
Wow, really?
A literal crowd jumped on me all of a sudden. People had a million questions about my life. Everyone wanted to play the lip reading game. They would mouth dumb things at me, and I had to guess. Banana olive juice? No, I love you. Aw, you're just saying. La 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 la. The whole class was rolling in laughter. I had no idea I was so fun. By the end of the day, I got invited to 3 different sleepovers. I was really enjoying my new popularity. Until one day when I learned a secret I couldn't forget. Aurora was hanging out with Kat and a gang of cheerleaders, and I saw them mouthing the words spray paint and plan. That made me curious, so I sneaked closer to them to hear what they were saying. Kat was planning to vandalize the school building this weekend, and she was making her friends help her. When I reached home, I went into Aurora's room to talk to her alone. I know what Kat is planning to do this weekend.
You little sneak! How did you know? Did you lip read us?
It doesn't matter. You can't go spray painting buildings with her. She's gonna get you in trouble.
Mind your own business.
Why do you let that jerk push you around?
That jerk's dad is literally our dad's boss. She's really powerful.
So let her get in trouble alone. She refused to listen to me. I didn't know what to do. But I couldn't let her get mixed up with that awful girl anymore. So I told my parents what she was about to do. Her bully of a friend is gonna make her vandalize the school. My parents were furious at Aurora. They yelled at her and then grounded her for the next 2 weeks.
You told on me. Isn't it enough that you're our parents' favorite? You just had to do this.
Aurora, if you get caught, you could get suspended or even expelled.
As if you care about what happens to me. Stay out of my life.
Aurora shut me out hard. After that, she ignored me at home and in school. That Monday, the principal announced that Kat and her group had been caught ruining school property, and they all got suspended. I thought that would soften Aurora's temper, but she still didn't want to talk to me. I couldn't stay upset about it for too long, because one day I opened my lockers to see flowers and a note inside. It was from Marina.
Too shy to say it in person, but ever since we met, I can't stop thinking about you. Want to go out with me?
I was so happy I was gonna faint. A real-life fairy just asked me out. I texted her yes and literally floated on air for days. I was so nervous on my first ever date that my hands were shaking. I even spilled a soda all over us. But that was the moment she chose to surprise me and kissed me. She was just perfect. Marina was funny, clever, and even my parents loved her. Our relationship was pure and blissful until we reached the 9th grade, and she finally introduced me to her mom. That was instant hate. Her mom didn't want her dating a girl, and it showed. She asked Marina to dump me, and when she didn't, she started ignoring her. She bought her siblings presents and took them to dinners. But she purposefully left Marina out. I hated to see Marina upset, and I foolishly thought if her mom got to know me, she'd like me. So for Marina's birthday, I set up a family picnic in the park as a surprise. But Marina's mom spent the whole time bragging about her siblings.
My son has a new job, and my eldest daughter is going to college with a scholarship. I'm so proud of you both.
Mom, I won an art contest last month.
Art contest? Ha ha, sounds lame. Your sister won a science scholarship.
Bitter tears filled Marina's eyes, and she stormed off in a huff. She worked hard on that contest, and you called it lame just to hurt her. You're insane. I went after Marina and saw her weeping, and suddenly it reminded me of Aurora getting ignored by our parents. Unlike Marina's mom, my parents didn't give me more attention to hurt Aurora. But the end result looked exactly the same. My parents were wrong for how they treated Aurora. I was just too mad at her for not being there for me, and I couldn't see it until now. Aurora still avoided me at home and at school, but it finally made sense to me, and we didn't speak again until the evening of the spring dance. Marina and I wore the prettiest dresses and were so excited to go to our first dance together. But we'd only been there for an hour when Marina's mom showed up.
What are you doing here?
Just wanted to see all the handsome boys you rejected to date this rude girl. That one. Oh, that one.
Mom, stop it. You can't be here.
You can't date this girl. She called your own mother insane.
That's because you are insane.
People were staring at us, and someone even turned the music down.
My daughter never spoke to me this way before you came along. I hate you.
Her mom picked up the bowl of punch, and she was gonna throw it at me. I prepared myself for the splash, but suddenly, Aurora flew in between us and pushed her away. Marina's mom went flying back right into a table of food. The entire hall watched her in pin-drop silence before exploding into whispers and laughter.
Call the principal. His students attacked me. They're crazy.
The teachers were furious at Aurora for pushing her and disrupting the dance. They gave her 6 weeks of detention and called our parents to pick us up. When we got home, they tried to yell at Aurora, but I stopped them. Marina's mom deserves everything she got. You should be proud of Aurora for standing up for me.
She stood up for you this one time. Before this, she was planning to vandalize buildings. And before that, she was constantly fighting with you.
That's you. Your fault, not hers. Yeah, you heard me. You were so eager to make me feel good, you ignored Aurora since we were kids. That's why she hated me.
We may have given you more attention, but we loved you both equally.
No way. You acted like I didn't even matter. Nothing I ever did was good enough for your praise, while you wrote actual songs about Scarlet.
Aurora, you were healthy. Topping your classes, cheerleading, making friends. You didn't need us as much as she did.
That's not true. I was upset. Making friends with bullies and getting into trouble. I would be suspended or expelled if it weren't for Scarlet. I'm a mess. If you loved me as much as you loved Scarlet, you would have seen that.
Aurora burst into tears while my parents looked stunned.
We did take your achievements for granted. And yes, we were more worried about your sister. But we love you both the same.
Then why don't you act like it?
We didn't want Scarlet to be jealous of your life. We worried about her getting hurt in a million ways, but that's not an excuse. If we let you think for even a second that we didn't love you, then we really messed up. I'm so sorry, Aurora.
We love you both more than our own lives. We're sorry we haven't shown it. We'll do better from now on.
Aurora grabbed my parents in a hug, and I wiped my tears off and joined them too.
What's up? I'm Garrett, and my parents adopted me from a poor farm in Sri Lanka, and now living a millionaire life because of my politician parents. Honestly, living rich isn't my thing, but keep that between us. I appreciate everything my parents have done for me, yet I've noticed that wealthy folks tend to boss others around over the most ridiculous stuff.
I asked for a gold-plated toilet seat, not this regular one. What are you, stupid?
Mom, who cares? It's just a toilet seat. No one's going to rate our bathroom on the luxury loo leaderboard. I ended up spending all my free time strumming on my guitar with my best friend in the entire world, John.
Time for the next gig. You in?
Met John during a tryout for a local band, and we've been tight ever since. We made it into the band and began performing at local charity events. It was amazing to see how happy we could make people. One day, while we were playing at a soup kitchen, I noticed a disturbance. A bully was harassing one of the most beautiful girls I'd ever seen.
I found twigs in the soup you made. I want my money back.
It's free, and I saw you put those in there.
I was about to step in when the girl poured soup all over the bully's head. Security came and threw her out. I quickly ran outside to let her know how awesome that was. But she had already disappeared. But when I got back to John's, he had the biggest smirk on his face.
Do you remember that cute girl who souped that bully?
Duh!
Well, her name's Sunny, and I asked her out, so she's kind of my girlfriend now.
I felt like a giant rock had been stuck in my throat. But you guys, what was I supposed to do? There's a bro code. That's awesome, John. But as they started dating, I started to see less and less of John. And whenever we did hang out, all he would ever talk about was Sunny.
You know, Sunny supports her entire family. She has like 17 jobs.
Wow, the next day my parents had a huge surprise in store for me. A pretty girl was spinning around in my kitchen, batting her eyelashes in slow motion. Honestly, it was a little ridiculous.
Hello, I'm Olivia.
I'm Garrett, and why are you here?
Well, son, it's your 18th birthday and your present is Olivia. She's gonna be your wife.
My what?
Did you really think we'd leave your matchmaking up to fate?
But your mother and I were in an arranged marriage. Look how happy we are.
I was definitely not convinced.
Olivia's living with us until the wedding. You'll have plenty of time to get to know her.
I tried it first for my parents' sake, but everything about Olivia rubbed me the wrong way. Every time she opened her mouth, I felt like some brain cells had died. One time we traveled to the village where I was born.
Ew, I could never be that poor. How sad and pathetic.
That really made me want to slap on her stupid face. Garrett, remember? You're a gentleman! I needed out of this. A life with Olivia would be a life tied to the very type of person I hated most, so I decided to run away. As I was climbing out of my window, John pulled up to my house. How could I forget? We were supposed to practice together.
Bro, what are you doing?
My parents want me to marry this total snozberry. I'm running away.
What? Garrett, you can't give your life up.
I don't have any other choice. I couldn't bring myself to say no to my parents or break their hearts. So it's either run away or marry her. Besides, it's not like I have any other romantic leads. But then John looked at me with this sparkle in his eye.
What if you hired a fake fiancé and told your parents you're already getting married?
I burst out laughing. Yeah, right. Would anyone actually be interested? I mean, it's a little pathetic.
Sunny could do it.
You mean your girlfriend?
Yeah, she's desperate for money. Let me ask.
And then he started texting her. Wait, John, isn't that weird? She's your girlfriend.
She said she's in, and who cares? Dude, it's just pretending. Besides, I trust you more than anyone.
I mean, it's not like I really had any other options. Luckily, my parents went on a business trip, so at least that bought me some time. The next day, I met up with Sunny and got up to pull her chair out, but she kicked it back in.
One thing straight, this is just a job.
Geez, I was just trying to be polite.
I love John.
So do I. But don't you feel weird that he's passing you off to me like you're some loaner car?
I would advise you to shut your face hole before I shut it for you.
Well, you better get an attitude transplant if you're going to be a convincing fiancé, otherwise this won't work. She looked at me with this mischievous smirk.
You don't have to question my believability. Trust me.
The next day, I invited Sunny to my school's potluck. I went to the bathroom for 2 seconds, and when I came back, I saw Sunny had entered the green chili eating contest. As Sunny shoveled chilies down her throat, she glared at me with cold hatred. And then, to my shock, she told everyone.
My fiancé holds the green chili eating world record.
Before I knew it, tears were streaming from our eyes as we ate chili after chili. Remind me to bathe in milk later. After Sunny won, I dragged her away from everyone. What are you doing?
Just having some fun with my fiancé.
I'm going to be in the bathroom for a week straight now because of you. But if that's what you want, I'll give it to you and eat until you're happy.
No, stop.
Suddenly, Olivia appeared out of nowhere.
Wow. Garrett, that is pretty impressive. My parents love spicy food. They're going to be so happy when they find out you can handle it.
And then she kissed me on the cheek and ran off. I wanted to flip a table.
What was that about?
You need to start playing by my rules, Sunny, or you can kiss your money goodbye.
I do one thing you don't like, and this is how you act. You're exactly who I thought you were. You're a rich, arrogant jerk.
I walked outside to blow off steam, literally. But I realized I got why she thought I was that way. I mean, rich people, they're the worst. I had to show her that I wasn't like that. I went back inside, but Sunny was nowhere to be found. I started to get worried, so I called John.
Did you seriously lose my girlfriend? Dude, I'm on my way.
Then I heard someone crying in the girls' bathroom. I took a chance. Sunny, it's Garrett. I wanted to apologize. She unlocked the door, but when she opened it, I was shocked to see Sunny was covered in Jell-O. What happened?
That girl who kissed you on the cheek threw a whole Jell-O cake in my face.
Olivia. So maybe she was starting to get the message. I was almost a little excited when...
I look like a sea monster.
Here, let me help. I washed Sunny's hair in the sink and gave her my sweatshirt so she'd have clean clothes.
Why are you being so nice to me?
Because this is all my fault. Olivia attacked you because of me, and then I told her everything about the arranged marriage and Olivia. I'm sorry, Sunny, for all of this. This was stupid.
No, it's not. I was wrong about you. Just give me one more chance. I'll be the perfect fake fiancé.
And then she hugged me so tight that my heart started beating fast. But just then, the door swung open and...
What do you think you're doing?
No, and John, it's not what it looks like.
Wait in the car, Sunny!
John!
Now!
I didn't like the way he was talking to her. He was acting so controlling. John came for me, his nostrils literally flaring.
What gives, man? She's still my girlfriend.
Woo, dude, relax. This was your idea. Sunny and I are just...
Stop! Man, I see the way you look at her.
What? No, the bro code. I would never.
Whatever. Just finish this up as soon as possible.
I can't believe he was really going to let a girl get between us after all we'd been through. The next day, I woke up and was surprised to see Sunny sitting at the edge of my bed.
I have a surprise for you.
Then she put a blindfold around me and put me in the driver's seat. I had no idea what was going on, but I've always been a sucker for surprises. And the next thing I knew, we were in the mountains. We climbed the whole thing. But what shocked me is that the longer we hiked, the more I actually started to love it. For the first time, I could drop everything and I could just be me. We took a picture together at the top, and Sunny put her arms around me. I blushed so hard. Maybe John was right. Maybe I was starting to catch feelings for Sunny, and it was magical.
Doesn't this feel like a scene from a movie, Garrett?
Yeah, of course. And when I got home that night, Olivia waiting for me.
You better be free tomorrow night.
Hello to you too.
My parents are coming for dinner to meet you. Our wedding's happening. Garrett, can you believe it?
I called Sunny immediately.
Why don't I just come to the dinner and they can see for themselves that you're taken?
Gosh, women are smart. If anything had a shot, it was that the next day, Sunny arrived at my house. She looked incredible. You look beautiful, lol.
Thanks. Too bad tonight's our last night doing this. It's actually been fun.
But before I could confess my true feelings, John stepped out from behind her.
I thought you might need a little chaperoning to make sure you don't fail miserably, Garrett.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. When we got inside, Olivia and her parents were already there. It was now or never.
I said for just you to come.
Olivia, this is my best man, John. This is Sunny, my fiancé. I wished I could bottle the look of disgust on Olivia's face for the rest of eternity. I was waiting for her to explode, but she simply said,
Okay, then prove it. Kiss her?
"What?"
If she's really your fiancé, it shouldn't be hard.
I looked at John, who was fuming, but I had no other choice. Sunny gave me a nod of approval. I leaned in and kissed her, and the world seemed to stop.
Crash!
We broke the kiss and swirled around to see that John had just smashed a vase and stormed off. John, wait!
What happened to the bro code?
What was I supposed to do? You're the one who told me to do this.
I knew you were lying.
Kevin and I both turned to see that Olivia, her parents, and Sunny had followed us and overheard everything.
Nice try, Garrett, but I knew you'd never date low-life trash like Sunny. You're marrying me whether you like it or not.
Can you really blame him for wanting to leave? You've got the ugliest personality ever.
This was getting out of hand. They were literally pulling each other's hair, so I stepped in the middle of them. "Girls, Sunny, stop!" And she felt bad the way I screamed, so she dashed away. Things couldn't end like this between us, though. Her family was struggling, and I had to do what was right. So I followed her. "Sunny, wait! Take this! I wrote her a check for $3 million.
Garrett, you shouldn't have to do this, any of this. Just be honest with your parents about Olivia. Maybe they'll understand.
She was right, but I was still afraid of disappointing my folks. "Just take the money now, you can take care of your family."
What?
But she just stared at me blankly. "That's why you took the job?"
No, I took the job for John. I agreed to do it, and I give the money to his sick mom.
"What? But John's mom isn't sick. Last week she ran the marathon." Just then we saw John with Olivia. He even had his arm around her. "John, you lied to us. All this time you wanted my money for yourself." John turned around with an evil look in his eyes.
You don't even do anything with it. I deserve to have a little. Come on, Sunny, let's go.
I'm not going anywhere with you. You lied to me too. We're over.
Are you happy now? Garrett, you've ruined my life.
Don't be so dramatic. John,
consider our friendship over.
And then he went away. He was never a true friend to begin with if he was only after my money. Sunny called a cab, but there was really nothing to say, except, "I'm sorry for how this all turned out."
Me too.
I wanted to kiss her so badly, but before I even got the chance, Olivia had a tentacle around me. I guess that was that. My parents came back, and I went along with wedding planning. I felt like a total ghost. I droned out Olivia's non-stop, talking with thoughts of Sunny. I should have told her how I felt. I even texted her on the day of the wedding, telling her that it was happening, maybe in hopes she'd want to pull a big romantic gesture. But when the time came and Olivia was walking down the aisle, Sunny was nowhere to be found. The priest started officiating when I heard a familiar voice call out,
"Stop the wedding!"
Everyone turned and gasped. To my shock, it was John. "John, what are you doing here?"
"Olivia, I love you. Let's run away from here. You want me to confess it in front of the whole world? So here I am."
What? But then Olivia ran over to John and started kissing him. I guess there was a lot more to that casual arm around her. That night at dinner,
The wedding's off!
as they ran away together, I couldn't help but laugh. And then I was in for the shock of the century when my parents came up to me.
"Son, I'm sorry we forced this upon you."
We never should have, we were wrong. Olivia is clearly not good enough for you. We made a mistake with her and just want you to be happy from now on. We've agreed. You choose who you love.
And they hugged me tightly and went to the guests. What just happened?
It looks like someone just got there. Happily ever after.
I turned around, shocked to see the priest removed his beard and hat. It was Sunny.
You seriously thought I'd miss watching this train wreck?
Sunny, I'm so sorry. Look, I know this sounds crazy, but although we were just pretending, I actually fell in love with you.
I know, silly. Why else do you think I'm here? I feel the same way.
How did I have no idea that was you?
I told you not to doubt my believability.
I laughed and grabbed her in my arms. What do you say? Should we make this a happy ending?
I thought you'd never ask.
Hi, I'm Elena from Milan, Natalya. Please like and subscribe. I grew up without a dad, but I had a rich mom who owned an international fashion brand. Well, that's also why my parents decided to get divorced, because he couldn't cope with her overambitious nature. But to be honest, I'm not that close with my mom. She doesn't have much time for me, and I usually see her once a month after her overseas trips, when she brings me a gazillion toys. I guess that was her way of making up for the absence, but I wasn't complaining. I spend a lot of time chatting with my stuffed penguin and acting out scenes from the stories I watch on the Luna avatar. But as I grew up, I started noticing how absent my mom was from my life. She rarely took me to school, and of course she'd miss important events there all the time. When I was in 5th grade, I was chosen to play Juliet because of my acting skills. I went home and proudly told my mom, "Mom, you have to be there that day!"
All right, sweetie, I promise.
Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow. But by the time she reached school, the play was over.
I'm sorry, honey, I got stuck with something important.
I know, Mom, I can never be as important to you as your work.
Sweetheart, I'm doing this for you. One day this company will be yours.
I don't want to work for your stupid company. Mom, you see, my dream is to become an actress. My drama teacher says I have talent and could become as famous as Margot Robbie someday.
OMG, you're delusional. I'll talk to your teacher about putting such silly ideas into your head. Acting is for losers who've got nothing better to do.
You know, nothing happened because my mom was too busy with her fashion shows and had no time to argue anymore. But the acting bug in me never died. I joined the school's drama club and participated in all kinds of plays. Of course, Mom had no clue about it. Once, when I was 17, I was at the mall and noticed a girl who seemed to be following me. She trailed me from the hair salon to the ice cream shop, always giving me a glare. Thought something was fishy, so I cornered her when I got the chance. What's your problem? Did I do something wrong to you? Or if you want an autograph, just say so.
You're such a witch! Stop flirting with my crush!
She lunged at the girl standing next to me, and I felt more embarrassed than the statue of David.
First, he's not your boyfriend, and second, he's already agreed to go out with me.
Grr, if a moron like you hadn't shown up, I would have had a happy relationship.
Hey, don't be so harsh, girl. After helping deal with the stalker, the girl treated me to pizza.
My name's Daisy. Thanks for your help.
Daisy told me about the relationship problem she was facing. She wanted to dump her boyfriend Leo because she'd fallen in love with her new neighbor. New neighbor? Is that the stalker's crush?
Yep.
Your love life is such a mess.
So do you have a BF?
Yes, of course. He's named Jackie. When we first met, it was raining, and he offered me his jacket, and since then I've called him Jackie E. I excitedly told Daisy about the boyfriend in my dreams. Well, by the way, I have a way to help you solve your problem. Pick up the phone and invite your Leo to dinner. Leo was supposed to take Daisy out on a date at a restaurant. Moments after they were seated, I catwalked in with a massive curly wig and the ugliest glasses. The love of my life! The apple pull up my eyes! You said you loved my thick curly hair. Then what are you doing with this witch with a boring ponytail?
Who are you? Do we know each other?
Oh, don't be so cruel, my coochie suo. I know I've put on 25 ounces, but I promised to put in the extra hours at the gym.
Stop it. Daisy, believe me, I've never met this girl before. She's lying.
Please don't dump me. I can accept you having 2 girlfriends, or I can switch to a ponytail. I'm willing to die for you, my precious, but don't call me liar. I know your favorite color is blue. You love dumplings. You still watch Popeye, and you fart when you sneeze. Daisy simply shook her head.
That doesn't prove anything.
I can't believe you've been cheating on me with this thing. I'm done with you.
With that, Daisy marched off before Leo could make sense of what had just happened. I quietly snuck out too. The next day at school, Daisy and I couldn't stop laughing about the whole thing. You're a liar! Don't call me liar.
Thanks. Your acting skills were so sick that Leo didn't try to contact me again. Now I have time to date my new neighbor at home.
On the other side, things were going from bad to worse between Mom and me. She wanted me to focus on studies, but my heart was in theater. I wanted to join an acting school in New York, but she just wouldn't let me. One morning after a heated argument with Mom, I was rushing to my class when I bumped into something rock solid. What the rock? You got buttons for eyes? I looked up and saw Leo.
Oh, I just transferred to this school because I find it hard to stay away from my girlfriend.
Daisy, huh? I thought you two had broken up?
No, I mean, wasn't I your... Coochie COO just a few days ago? Actually, you did me a favor too. I knew Daisy was going around with another guy while we were dating.
What? And you still dated her? Are you in that case?
Well, I was about to confront her that day, but you, my savior, made things easier. You put up a nice act, by the way.
He gave me a lopsided smile, and for some reason it made my heart flutter. He knew it was me. Leo was actually pretty cute. Then suddenly he was touching my long, silky hair.
Your hair is gorgeous! It's a shame you hid it behind that ugly wig that day!
I blushed and ran straight into the classroom. It felt completely different from the romantic scenes I had acted in. In the following days, I felt like Leo was intentionally bumping into me. I kept running into him in the auditorium, near the lockers, cafeteria, and restroom. Heck, he even agreed to play the role of a rock in the play I was participating in. Of course, that rock never spoke to me once. One day, as I was coming out of the library, I spotted him standing outside, whistling to himself. I felt extremely annoyed by that manner.
Are you stalking me? Let's talk, stupid rock!
I could say the same. You were the one falling all over me a few days back.
I angrily walked towards him to give him a piece of my mind, but I slipped on something and landed straight into his arms.
Oh, did you just fall? For me, again?
Before I could respond, he helped me get back on my feet and then gently pulled off the scrunchie I was wearing.
Your hair looks better this way. Free.
Then he simply turned around and left, leaving me stunned.
Oh, stop, Elena! You'll burn a hole in his shirt if you keep staring like that.
Whoa, you scared me, Daisy!
Wow, you really like him. Oh, sorry, you're still in character, aren't you?
What nonsense! He's not my type!
I would have never dumped him if you looked at me the way he was looking at you.
A week later, we had to go to the supermarket to perform our play, and I got my period on the bus. As I was getting off, Leo pulled me aside and wrapped his jacket around my waist. I rushed to the restroom and changed, and when I came out, I found him waiting outside. Even during the entire performance, he kept his gaze on me. Well, Daisy, it seems like I might be falling for Leo a little.
Yes, I knew it, and I know he feels the same about you. Let's ask him out this weekend.
This weekend's my mom's birthday. That weekend, Mom threw a grand party and invited her friends and business partners. It was such a boring party because everyone was being so fussy. But I had to for Mom's sake. As I sat in a corner sipping my juice, I heard a familiar voice.
Hey, actress! I thought there was nothing cool at a party like this.
But why are you here?
I'm here with my dad, and you?
This is my house. Then we chatted by the pool under the moonlight. Leo was smart and witty, and at one point I was about to ask him out when I noticed Mom gesturing to me to meet her outside.
Oh, my Elena, you look gorgeous in the dress from my newest collection.
Cut the drama. Get to the point, Mom.
Leo is your friend, right? His dad owns a big retail chain. If we get a chance to collaborate, our company could really grow. You know what to do. Seduce him.
I almost told her that I was going to, but then I had an idea. Your company, not our company, and I don't like him.
Please, Elena, think about the business, and I want to see our products.
Okay, but then you'll allow me to apply to that acting school. Yeah, it's like catching two rabbits with one carrot. I can date Leo and pursue my dreams at the same time. The next day, Leo and I started dating. It was pure bliss. He was even better than I had imagined.
You called me a rock? Well, my heart is becoming like a rock because of your beauty.
You're so cheesy, but I like it.
Then on my birthday, Leo planned a surprise party for me and invited the entire school. Leo showed up with a huge present. Oh, darling, it's so huge. Let me guess. It's a vase, a stuffed bear, or maybe a guinea pig.
Open it, you'll be surprised.
What? Inside the gift box was just an envelope. I carefully unfolded it. My face turned white when I saw the papers it contained. It was the contract that said his dad's company will be my mom's company's buyer. What the heck?
We performed really well, didn't we, Elena? The goal has been achieved, so we can drop the actress act now.
Leo, I don't understand.
Okay, let me explain, friends. Elena was dating me so she could use me to get my mom to promote her mom's business. I just made her wish come true. That's not true. You know what? I've had enough of your lies. I'm breaking up with you, Elena. Think of this as a parting gift.
Leo left, leaving me completely humiliated. I had to pretend nothing happened to keep everyone from laughing at me. On the way home, I cried as I walked. I had always been confident in my acting skills, but it turned out I was just a fool in my own love scenario. When I got home, I threw the envelope straight at my mom's face.
Hey!
We've achieved our plan. Why don't we throw a party tomorrow? My mom opened the envelope and was thrilled.
Okay, sweetie, time for celebration. Besides Leo, is there anyone else you'd like to invite?
Do whatever you want. We broke up, and tonight I'm going to New York. The acting school accepted my application.
Please don't go, I'll talk to him.
You'll do no such thing! This is the first time I'm leaving home for a foreign city. Not only does it help me forget everything, but it also brings me closer to my dream university. In a few years, my hard work paid off, and I became a popular actress. I even landed the lead role in an upcoming Marvel film. Then one day, I got a call from Mom's doctor who told me her health was deteriorating fast. I rushed back home immediately and found Mom in bed, looking so frail that it shook me.
Mom, why did you say you were okay?
I didn't want to bother you, just like how you didn't bother me before. I always thought you were wasting your time with acting, but you've proven me wrong. I'm sorry.
Mom, don't leave me alone!
Don't worry, she was exhausted from work and prolonged stress. But fortunately, we got her to the hospital in time.
I spent my life running after money, and I didn't value the priceless gift life had given me.
I hugged Mom, and it felt amazing. The next day, I went to her office and found out Mom's business had been falling apart for months. But there was one company still buying her products that kept her from completely going bankrupt. Leo's. I decided to meet him and thank him personally. When I went to his office, my heart skipped a beat seeing how handsome he looked.
Elena, it's been a while. You're just as beautiful as ever.
I still feel that spark, something I haven't found with anyone else but Leo. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for helping with my mom's business. But I'm curious, why did you do it? Especially after humiliating me in front of everyone at the birthday party 5 years ago?
Actually, I overheard the conversation between you and your mom at the party, where she asked you to date me. I really love you, but I thought you were just playing a part. I was heartbroken, feeling like the only girl I'd truly loved was messing with my feelings. After all, Daisy told me everything, but it was too late. You had already left. It was all my fault, my selfishness. Maybe it would have been better if I'd just been a rock.
You loved me still do? Suddenly my heart started racing like never before. Then how about we start all over again?
Done deal. But first I want to do something I've been dying to do since you walked in that door.
Leo leaned closer, and just when I thought he'd kiss me, he pulled off my scrunchie and we both started laughing.
Hi, I'm Larissa, and I know what you're thinking. She looks nothing like her family. That's because I was adopted when I was a baby. I was born in Romania, and I might have taken that small piece of trivia a little too seriously. Oh, I can't water the plants. Romanians are allergic to the sun. Does this broccoli have garlic on it? Romanians don't eat garlic, Mommy. But I have to sleep inside this cardboard box. It's a Romanian thing. You won't get it.
That's a vampire thing, doofus. They'll sleep in a bed like a proper human being, child. God, you're so dumb.
I wasn't dumb. I was quirky and cute. But Andre was right. I just never seemed to make the smartest choices. Andre wasn't only my brother. He was also my best bud growing up. He was super smart and solved math equations in his sleep. But he was really awkward and hated outdoor activities. Come out, Andre. Look at all these butterflies coming out of their raccoons.
It's cocoons, and no thank you. You know they start off as icky caterpillars, right?
Quit being such a party pooper and come play with me. But Andre just stayed inside. I chased the butterflies and didn't realize when I ended up rather far from home. I was about to find my way back when suddenly this weird woman came out of nowhere and started showering me with kisses. You! Get your germy lips off of me! I'm warning you, I know Kung Fu!
Larissa, I'm your aunt! I know your real mother. She wants to meet you at the ice cream shop.
My what now? I didn't really care about finding my real family. I was happy with the one I had. But since ice cream was involved, I was suddenly curious. I was about to get into her van when suddenly a couple of police cars came screeching to a stop before us, and the officers arrested my aunt. They took me to the station with them, and moments later, Mom and Dad came running in and hugged me super tight.
Oh, Larissa, thank God you're safe. You can't go so far from home.
That woman is a kidnapper the police have been trying to catch. She works at the adoption agency and picks up adopted kids for ransom money. Luckily, they caught her in time.
Whoa! The psycho woman was jailed for 25 years. But from that day on, my parents were attached to me like my shadow and treated me like a porcelain doll. They wrapped me up in bubble wrap when I wanted to jump on the trampoline. They put me on a baby leash when we went out in public. They even missed Andre's science fairs and chess matches because they couldn't trust anyone to babysit me.
You only have yourself to blame. Who's dumb enough to just walk off with a random stranger?
Me, of course, I was nothing special. I had no brains and no passion. Most of the time, I felt a little lost. But one day, I saw this 16-year-old Russian swimmer, Mariana, win a gold medal on TV. And my whole life changed. I had posters of her all over my room and even bought all of her merchandise. I was obsessed. I want to be just like Mariana. She's a year older than me, and she's achieved so much.
But swimming is dangerous, sweetie. You could slip and hit your head.
I could do that in the kitchen, too.
We should baby-proof the kitchen.
What? No, I'm not a baby. Please, will you just let me try something for once? I'm sick of staying at home. I begged and whined and threw a couple of tantrums, and finally, they agreed to take me to a kiddie pool. Whatever. I was determined to make the best of it. And when I entered the water, it felt like I was finally in my element. I aced all the lessons and turned out to be a natural. Within a year, I joined the high school swim team and even won a local competition. And Mom and Dad finally stopped freaking out like headless chickens. Then I started 10th grade, and things just went bonkers. On the very first day, I was rushing to the shower when I slipped and went crashing into a girl. I am so sorry. Oh my God. What? You're Mariana. Am I dreaming? Ouch. This is definitely real. I am such a huge fan.
Oh, really? Is that why you tried to injure me?
What? It was an accident.
Ha! I doubt it. I eat jealous little wannabes like you for breakfast. Now stay out of my way or I'll crush you.
What a diva! I found out from the head coach that Mariana was recovering from an injury at the local state-of-the-art medical center and would be attending our high school while she was here. Just my luck. The universe sent my idol to my school, and she already hates me. I tried to do damage control and got her some welcome flowers and cheesecake, but she started sneezing and gagging and threw everything in the trash.
Are you trying to sabotage me? I'm lactose intolerant and allergic to roses.
How was I supposed to know that?
You said you were my fan and you don't know this? Some fan you are.
I was just trying to be nice.
Nice gets you nowhere. Work on your swimming instead, loser.
Okay, that's enough. I know you're an international champion, but you can't treat me like this. I really admired you, but now I can say you're just a brat with a swollen head. Get over yourself.
Ha! You wish you could be me. I have more talent in my injured little toe than you have in your whole entire body.
You can put your entire foot in your mouth, because at the next swim meet, I'm gonna beat you.
I accept the challenge. Although it's hardly a challenge. Ha 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 ha.
I was pumped. I trained extra hard and spent so much time in the pool, I started looking like a wrinkly old grandma. But on the day of the swim meet, Mariana spilled an entire bottle of conditioner on me right before the start.
Oops, I'm so sorry. Your skin looked like it needed it.
I was fuming. I took another quick shower, but I was super late. And when the whistle blew, I was so out of it that I flopped into the water like a dying fish. I lost badly, and Mariana sailed through the water gracefully, like a swan. But what she did next shocked the bubbly farts right out of me. Mariana stepped off the stage after taking her prize and kissed Andre. Hey, what the heck are you doing to my brother? Stand behind me, Andre. I'll protect you from this soul-sucking mermaid.
Larissa, Andre has told me so much about you. We met in the library the other day, and I said I was craving some Russian pastries. He got me some the very next day. Andre is a real gentleman.
And you're a real lady.
What was happening? Fred looked genuinely happy, but Mariana was bad news. The way she'd swam earlier, it didn't look like she was injured at all. But before I could confront her, they left. What a bunch of love-struck jerks. I was so depressed, I spent a couple of hours at my favorite ice cream shop eating my feelings. But once the banana splits were gone, I headed home. And to my surprise, I saw Mariana across the street. She was dressed like some weird spy and went inside a dirty-looking alley. I followed her and saw that she was buying a weird packet from some homeless dude. Hey, what you got there, bestie?
Did you hit your head on that dive? I am not your bestie.
Is it Russian candy? Is it a wig? Or is it a whole new personality you use only when Andre's around?
It's your brother's heart, and it's all mine.
She was a piece of work and super suspicious. I wanted to follow her, but I was already late. Mom and Dad would probably send a SWAT team after me. So that night, I borrowed Andre's laptop and did some research. I found a few articles about Mariana's injury, but then I found a creepy Reddit thread about athletes using performance-enhancing pills. I was shocked. Is that how Mariana had swum so well in the competition with an injury? I had to find out. But the next day, I walked into school and everyone was talking about Mariana and Andre like they were a celebrity couple. Andre, of all people, was popular. He suddenly had this confidence I'd never seen before. It was kinda awesome. But Mariana was ruining swimming for me.
We've decided I'll take your place on the swim team for regionals.
What? You can't do that. You're not even a permanent student. Aren't you supposed to be injured and resting? Coach!
I'm sorry, Larissa. We have a chance to compete with an international gold medalist on our team, and she seems strong enough now.
I was so mad, I tore up all of her posters from my room and trashed all the merchandise. All I'd wanted to be was noticed by my idol, but she just turned out to be a massive jerk. I was gonna bring her down if it was the last thing I did.
Hey, Mariana told me what happened. It was really sweet of you to give her your place. She really needed this.
I didn't give up anything. Your evil girlfriend pushed me out. Swimming is the only thing I'm good at, but she couldn't even let me have it.
Look, I know you're hurt, but she's a good person.
It's all an act. She's only pretending to be your girlfriend to get under my skin.
Yes, Larissa, I'm sure. My relationship is all about you. Everything is always about you. The only reason a girl could want to be with me is to get back at you. Not because I have anything worth liking, right?
Wow, I didn't know you were so desperate to be liked. You'll defend the devil herself. Some brother you turned out to be. I hated the look of hurt in Andre's eyes, but I was just so mad. The next day, I sneaked into the gym and went through Mariana's locker. And I found the package she'd taken from the man in the alley, and it had pills inside. I ran to the head coach and showed him everything. Mariana went ballistic.
They aren't what you think. I'm not a cheat.
Then explain how your injury healed so quickly. You're lying, Mariana, and I have proof.
Stop this, Larissa. You don't know what you're talking about.
No! For once, I'm the smart one and you're being dumb. She played you with her big eyes and pretty face. She's just a cheating witch.
Stop calling me that!
And then she pushed me into the water. The head coach insisted on getting her tested, and she went bananas. She started ripping up pool noodles with her teeth and threw swimming flippers at the students like a mad person. 2 coaches had to drag her away, and she was suspended during the investigation. But I wasn't even happy about it. My teammates were mad at me for being a sneak. Andre wasn't talking to me, and Mariana. All the blood work came out clear. Turns out the pills were special Russian vitamins. But she was so messed up with all the media attention and headlines, she completely failed at the regionals. I felt like a total jerk. It was time for me to apologize. Hey, I'm sorry about the whole mix-up.
As if your plan worked. I lost the competition and my reputation. Now you can have your perfect life back.
Perfect? My life is not perfect. My adoptive family is the bomb. But I've always felt a bit lost since I was a kid. Swimming makes me feel like I belong. And you took that away from me.
Yes, I did, because I'm better at it. And it's good for the team. But Andre was right. You're a selfish, spoiled brat who only thinks about herself.
I was so mad. I slapped her hard across the cheek. We were rolling around on the floor, fighting like cats, when suddenly Andre came in between.
What the heck is wrong with you two?
She started it.
She's always hated me.
That's enough. I love you both, but this needs to stop.
You love me?
Are you okay? Do you have brain fever?
Stop it. Larissa! After all these years, I've taken a back seat while Mom and Dad obsessed over you. I thought you'd be okay with me being the center of attention for once.
It was true. Mom and Dad always went out of their way to make me happy and keep me safe. They hardly ever talked about Andre. I was selfish and felt terrible for not realizing it before.
And Mariana, you can't blame Larissa for jumping to conclusions when she doesn't know the truth.
What truth? Suddenly Mariana looked so sad it broke my heart.
My family had to flee Russia. Some really bad men were after my father, and I had to fake an injury so they would give us quick visas to come to America for my medical treatment. Now, I can never go back, and I can never swim for another country if I want to keep my family safe. That's why I wanted to be part of the swim team so badly.
But that doesn't explain why you're so mean and horrible.
It's all I knew. In Russia, you don't become a champion by being nice and sweet. You have to be really tough and fight for your place. It will be a hard habit to break, but I see you all as competition, especially you. You're good.
She said it reluctantly, but she said it, and I was on cloud 9. Aw, that's all I ever wanted to hear from you.
You, get away from me or I'll take the words back.
You can't take it back. Now you think I'm good, and we'll be on the same team together. It's gonna be epic.
Is your sister crazy? What is wrong with her? Why is she so huggy?
She's just really happy, and so am I.
Hi, I'm Tina from Poland. Please like and subscribe. I was born into a super rich home. My dad owned the largest store in the country, and my 2 brothers were billionaires as well. My long brown hair and my blue eyes caught the attention of everyone whenever I went out with my dad.
Wow, your daughter is so beautiful.
People would shower me with all sorts of gifts. I loved it a lot. I mean, who wouldn't? I would always want to go out with Dad, but he wouldn't let me, and he had his reasons. I was the only girl in the family. My mom left when I was a baby. When she left, Dad said I became really sick. I was taken to the best hospital in the country. They did all they could, but I didn't get any better. I spent a year in the hospital, and eventually I got better.
I'm so glad you're fine now, sweetheart.
Since then, my dad and brothers walked on eggshells around me, and they spoiled me silly. They bought me the most expensive gifts. My dad even got me the most expensive necklace in the world. I love them, but sometimes they do too much. The only person who treated me like a normal kid was Jerry, our next-door neighbor. Jerry and I were inseparable growing up, and we had the best time together. When people made fun of my long brown hair, Jerry always defended me. We would play silly pranks on my brothers, and laugh as the pranks played out. That all changed when Jerry's parents decided to move to another country. Jerry's mom got a sweet fashion deal in Paris, and they had to move. I was devastated. I wanted to sneak Jerry into my room so that we could start living together. But my brothers found out, Jerry left, and I was all alone. It took me a while to make friends in high school, even though I was the prettiest girl in school. I had gotten so used to Jerry that I couldn't just flow with any other person. One day I was on YouTube watching Luna videos. When I stumbled upon a channel, it was Jerry's. He'd gotten so big and handsome. He was a popular chef in Paris with over 10 million subscribers. I stayed up all night watching his videos. I wanted to drop a comment, but I didn't know what to type. I was scared that he wouldn't remember me anymore. Meanwhile, I'd gotten into a nationwide beauty pageant, and I was one of the favorites to win. That was all my dad talked about.
You need to win the pageant, sweetie. Whatever it takes.
I would always feel the pressure choking me when I went to school. Diane, the only person I was able to bond with at school, noticed and tried to take the pressure off.
Let's go to your favorite restaurant. I'm sure you'll feel better after.
We went to the restaurant and she got me my favorite meal. I smiled as the waiter placed the food on the table. And just as I munched on the delicious meal, the cutest guy walked in. Every lady in the restaurant stared and was in awe as he sat by the window. He looked at me and with a gorgeous smile he winked. My face turned red and my heart raced as he winked. I quickly looked away and focused on my meal. Just as we were about to leave the restaurant, I slipped and I was sure that I would fall. But the cute guy caught me.
You should watch where you're going. I should be the one falling, not you.
Why would you fall?
I would fall for you, of course.
I giggled in excitement as my face turned red. I looked at Diane, who was already dancing in the corner.
I'm Brian. How have I not seen such a beautiful creature like you around here before?
You didn't look closely enough. I'll see you around.
I grabbed Diane and we rushed out of the restaurant. Since then, I met Brian every time I went to the restaurant. He would come over to me and we would start talking. Turns out he was pretty funny and smart. I became so fond of him and we spent even more time together. Date one night, and when we returned, he walked me to the front door and planted a kiss on my lips. I was so excited because I had wished that Brian would be my first kiss. I began to really like him. And it turns out I wasn't the only one. My brothers and even my dad loved him.
He is the son of the wealthiest man in the country. We need the connection, honey.
He helped me with my preparation for the beauty pageant. And with time, we became a power couple in school. Apparently, Joy, the biggest bully in school, was also a contestant in the beauty pageant and was obsessing over Brian.
I wonder what he sees in you.
Things he doesn't see in you, apparently.
She did everything in her power to stop me from dating him, but she failed miserably. Her face would turn red when she saw us together after her failed attempts. It was so hilarious. I got to school one day and I got the biggest shock of my life. Jerry, my runaway neighbor, was sitting right next to my seat in class.
Jerry, what are you doing here?
I ran to meet him and he met me halfway. He lifted me up and hugged me tight. Wow, he even looked way cuter than in the videos. Brian saw us and he quickly moved to hold my hand.
Who is he?
Oh, this is Jerry. We were close friends when we were much younger, but he's a huge star now.
Huge star? How come I've never heard of him?
Don't mind Tina here, I'm just a chef.
What are you doing here, though?
Oh, I moved back here. My mom wants to spend more time here, and I miss this place as well.
I was so excited that I hugged him again. Brian pulled me back and placed his arm on my shoulder.
It's good to see you, Jerry.
I waved at Jerry as I walked out of the class with Brian. The wonderful memories I shared with him growing up rushed back to me as he smiled at me. He came to my place after school and we spoke for a long time. He told me all about Paris, how he learned to cook, and how he became a teenage sensation overnight.
My mom helped me with everything, and that's why I love her so much.
I'm really happy for you, Jerry, and I'm glad you're back.
Just as Jerry was about to leave, Brian walked in.
Oh, Jerry's here.
I was on my way already. Let me leave you two alone. Good night.
Jerry sounded so cool and mature, and he was dressed well too. Brian and I spent time together, but all I could think about was Jerry. I started spending more and more time with Jerry, and I began to realize just how funny and smart he was. Whenever his brown eyes stared at me, my heart would melt, and I could feel the butterflies in my stomach dancing. I was falling for him, and honestly, I loved it. Brian, on the other hand, had been buying me nice gifts since Jerry came back. He even got me a very expensive car, which I really loved. One time I was walking with Diane, and all of a sudden I tripped, and as I was about to fall, Jerry, out of nowhere, caught me. He held me in his arms for a while, and I just stared into his gorgeous eyes. He reached out to kiss me, but Brian walked up to us that moment.
What's going on here?
I pushed Jerry aside and ran away. I was so confused I didn't know what to do. The day of the beauty pageant grew closer, and I began to panic.
Don't be a baby. We've practiced, and I've helped you a lot. I'm sure you'll be fine.
He sounded so much like a jerk, but he was right. We had practiced so much, and I could feel the confidence building inside of me that all crumbled when Joy the witch accused me of stealing.
She would never do that.
Yes, she did, and I have the proof. She stole my expensive necklace and hid it in her locker. I saw her when she did it.
You're such a liar. Why would I steal your cheap necklace?
Why don't we find out if I'm a liar or not? Then, open your locker.
To my biggest surprise, the necklace was placed on one of the books in my locker.
How did it get there?
My jaw dropped as the principal picked up the necklace. Everyone looked at me weird, including Brian. My dad and brothers were certain that when I was called into the principal's office that I couldn't steal. They had bought even more expensive necklaces for me. So why would I steal one?
You are hereby disqualified from the beauty pageant, and you must serve detention for a week.
I ran out of the principal's office crying. I couldn't believe it. Everyone would think I'm a thief and they wouldn't believe me anymore. Jerry walked out of the shadows and he came over to me.
Hey, I heard what happened. Are you okay?
Leave me alone. Jerry, I know you think I'm a thief as well.
I could never think of you like that. And I know very well you are not a thief.
I'm glad you believe me because no one else in the school does, including Brian.
I don't know what to do. I started crying, and that was when Jerry moved closer to me and hugged me tightly.
Just ignore them. We'll figure something out. Trust me.
My first day in detention sucked. People looked at me differently, including the teachers. Jerry then came and made everything easier. We spent time together in detention and we got even closer. He stayed with me all the way through, and he also walked me home just to make sure I was safe. The beauty pageant was days away, and the entire country was buzzing because of it. Joy was the clear candidate to win, but there were talks about McKeely winning as well. She was my favorite. She was so pretty and kind. She had the cutest blue eyes I have ever seen. Jerry made sure I continued with my practice, even though I didn't want to.
You can still be called back in for the pageant, so you need to be ready.
On my way back from detention one day, I felt really sick. My knees became weak and I was dizzy. I fell to the ground and was rushed to the hospital. When my dad got to the hospital, he demanded that I'd be transferred to the same hospital I was admitted to when I was much younger. I was in a coma for 2 weeks. Everyone was worried sick. Brian, who had disappeared since Joy accused me of stealing, came back and stayed by my side. Jerry was there too, and they both argued from time to time about who deserved me more.
How could you abandon her when she needed you the most? You don't deserve her.
And who are you to decide that? She's my girlfriend, and there is nothing you can do about that.
The doctors ran some tests, and they found out I had a rare kidney disease and I needed a kidney transplant. Dad couldn't be the donor because he had the same disease. My brothers were on a very important business trip, and they weren't even told that I was in the hospital. Diane gave excuses and Brian ran away again. Time was running out and I needed a donor quickly.
I'll be the donor.
Jerry stepped up and he donated one of his kidneys. The surgery was successful, and weeks later I was discharged from the hospital. I got back home and continued the preparation for the beauty pageant with Jerry. Some days before the pageant, the school found out that Joy planted the necklace in my locker just to get me kicked out of the pageant. She confessed after she was caught trying to pull the same trick on Michaela. She was suspended and I was called back in for the pageant, just like Jerry had predicted. I became so nervous when I got the news. Sweat poured out of me and I felt a tightness in my chest. Jerry noticed and held my hand gently.
You'll be fine, Tina. This is what you trained for, and I am so proud of you.
He smiled at me and I hugged him tightly.
What would I do without you?
The day came and I was well prepared for it. I wore my finest gown. Dad had just gotten it for me and it looked absolutely gorgeous. My brothers hired the best stylist in the country, and she did a wonderful job. They all sat in the front row and they applauded when I stepped on stage. I nailed the many questions I was asked and felt my confidence building as the show went on. After what seems like an eternity, it was time to decide the winner. We all held hands and hoped for the best. Michaela got second place with a standing ovation, and my name was announced as the winner of the pageant. I was so happy, tears rolled down my cheeks. But out of nowhere, Brian came on stage and held my hand. I yanked his hand off and walked down to where Jerry stood. Brian ran to meet me and he grabbed me violently. Jerry intervened and punched him right in the face.
Leave her alone! You don't deserve her!
Brian ran off crying like a baby while Jerry held my hand gently and smiled at me. My heart melted and my face turned red.
You look really beautiful.
Just kiss me already.
He leaned in and gave me the warmest kiss ever. I held on to him as everyone cheered us on. It was the best night ever.
Hi, I'm Layla from Washington, and I have a really personal story to share today. But before I do, please like and subscribe. My mom gave birth to identical twin daughters, me and my sister Elise. So, of course, my parents dressed us in the same clothes and braided our hair with matching ribbons. But people could easily tell us apart for one reason. Elise was born with a minor facial distortion. Her eyes were a little lopsided, and her mouth was almost as low as her chin. I, on the other hand, looked like a freaking porcelain doll. And everywhere we went, people would ooh and ah at me. She's just too lovely to be real.
Wow, look at those brown eyes.
I have the same color eyes.
But everyone ignored Elise, and it really got to her. I kept telling her she was just as pretty as me, but she wouldn't hear a word of it. And as years passed, my sister grew to hate me. Elise did everything she could to make me feel as sad and angry as she felt. She'd spread rumors about me at school, steal my diary, and once she'd tried to shave off my eyebrows. I was living in fear, 24/7. Worst of all, my parents didn't take it that seriously.
I'll take away her electronics for a week.
That's not enough, Dad. Elise is trying to ruin my life. What if she tries to seriously hurt me?
Oh, Layla, that's silly. Elise is just going through a phase and we would never let her harm you.
They didn't understand. And when I turned 14, things really turned upside down. One afternoon, I came home from school to find Elise in the living room with my parents, and they looked furious with me.
How could you do something like that, Layla?
What are you talking about?
Elise said you locked her in the closet for an hour. We heard her calling for us.
What? Just then, I saw Elise, and she was smirking at me.
I just don't think I feel safe around Layla anymore, Mommy. How can I trust her after what she did?
Guys, she's framing me. She locked herself up in the closet.
And why would she do that? That's just twisted, Layla.
Didn't my parents see how crazy Elise was? Not one of them talked to me that night. They all watched Luna Avatar with a bowl of popcorn while I stayed in my room. But the next morning, my parents did the unthinkable. They made me move into the guest house.
It was Elise's idea. You two need space away from each other. We can't have this negativity in the house.
So you're kicking me out? What, because I trapped her in the closet? I told you guys I didn't do it.
It doesn't matter who did it. The point is, you two are toxic for each other right now. And at the moment, Elise needs our attention more than you do. You have more friends and the world at your fingertips. It's just for a short time, Layla.
I was speechless. I was being punished for literally nothing, and it was all Elise's fault. I moved into our guest house that evening and didn't speak to any of my family members. In fact, I continued to ignore them for the next several months. Sure, it was clear Elise was much happier without me in the house. She made more friends and even picked up a few hobbies. But I was still bubbling with anger. One day, I was coming out of the supermarket when I saw a homeless boy outside with dyed turquoise hair. I immediately pulled out a bag of bananas and some change, but he just laughed.
Whoa, do I look like a beggar?
If I'm being honest,
These clothes are just really old.
I still insisted that he keep the bananas, and the two of us ended up having lunch together. I found out the boy's name was Easton, and he lived in an apartment down the block. He was also an absolute sweetheart. I told Easton all about my home situation and Elise's issues with me, and he had a brilliant idea.
Pretend to run away from home, leave at midnight, and leave a note. Turn off the location services on your phone, and you can stay at my place. They'll get so scared they'll beg you to move back in with them. They might even finally punish your jerk sister.
I was sold. My whole family deserved a little scare, so that night, I sent a text to both my parents to tell them my plans and switched my location to private. I spent the next 2 nights at Easton's apartment. His family was really poor, and I had to sleep on a torn cot, but I felt fantastic. My parents were probably going crazy.
Maybe they think you joined a gang.
Or they think I'm pregnant and ran off to get married. Unfortunately, the fun didn't last long. The next morning, my parents burst into Easton's apartment with several cops. They hugged me and cried for a moment, but then they were furious.
Why would you scare us like this? We had no idea what was going on.
Sorry, but you kicked me out for no reason, and then neglected me for 6 months. I needed to teach you a lesson.
Teach us a lesson? Layla, we know the living situation isn't perfect, and we know we haven't been giving you as much attention, but just disappearing like you did. That's crazy behavior. Come with us right this second.
After that, Mom let me move back into the house, but she watched me like a dog. Elise even suggested I shouldn't leave home without her escorting me, and my parents agreed. Luckily, I could still hang out with Easton, who was the only person who seemed to care about me, and it turned out we'd even be going to the same high school next month. On my first day of 9th grade, I was in gym class when Easton started jogging next to me.
Whoa there, you look ready to faint. Here, take some of my water.
Oh God, is it that obvious?
Don't worry, you still look lovely, even though you're drenched in sweat.
Easton smiled at me as I drank from his water, and I felt a little weak in the knees, and not just because I was tired. I saw Elise glare at me as she jogged by, but I didn't care. As months passed, Easton and I just got closer, and whenever Elise was mean, he always defended me.
You can make fun of Layla's dress all you want, but she's the one who got a party invitation, and you didn't.
Secretly, I had the biggest crush on Easton, but I was way too chicken to ever tell him. I was just grateful to have a best friend. It was exhausting living with a bully 24/7. Then, one day, when I came home from school, my parents gave me shocking news. They'd found a plastic surgeon to fix Elise's facial distortion. They couldn't completely get rid of it, but I'd never seen my sister so happy.
I felt so ugly my whole life, Layla. I know it sounds shallow, but I can't wait to be as beautiful as you.
Elise, look at me. You've never been ugly. But if getting this surgery makes you feel more confident, then I support you. Elise started to cry then and hugged me. I stayed with her in the surgery room the entire time, and she even apologized for how she treated me. And I was glad. I was ready to give up our crazy fighting. After Elise's surgery, things changed between us. Elise didn't seem jealous of me anymore, and even started hanging out with me and Easton. Then, one day, I walked into my front yard and almost had a heart attack. Elise was kissing Easton. Hey, does someone want to tell me what's going on here?
Well...
Layla, I've been meaning to tell you. Easton and I like each other, and I asked him out.
I felt like I was gonna throw up. I pulled Elise aside angrily. How could you do this to me? Elise, I love him and you know it.
I know you love him, and I'm sorry. But I've been hanging out with Easton for a couple of weeks, and we have a connection.
How could you do this to me? Elise, I love him and you know it.
Layla, I'm not trying to hurt you. I really like Easton, and I just want to be happy for once.
I can't take this anymore. You made me miserable for 14 years, and then got me kicked out of my own house and convinced Mom to basically ground me for 24/7. This is the last straw. I stormed off and blocked Easton on all social media. He kept calling me to apologize and tell me that him dating Elise wouldn't change our friendship, but I refused to speak to him. The next day at school, I decided it was time for overdue revenge. The first thing I did was attach a bucket of paint to the cafeteria doorway, and when Elise walked in with Easton, pink splashed all over them. Everyone laughed like crazy, and I felt great. I got suspended for a day, but it was worth it, and I didn't stop there. That entire month, I pulled every prank I could think of on them at school, putting spiders in their locker and gluing their butts to the classroom chairs. I felt guilty for being a jerk, but Elise deserved it, didn't she? And Easton was dating my sister, who bullied me my whole life. Then one day, I was studying in the courtyard when Easton walked over to me, and he looked furious.
I've had it with you, Layla. Your jealousy has turned you insane. All the kids at school now are terrified of you.
What do you mean? I've done nothing to anyone, except you and Elise.
Really? Because the bucket of paint from your prank got all over the cafeteria floor, and one kid tripped and sprained his ankle. I'm sorry you're hurt about me dating Elise, but it happened organically. Our feelings for each other had nothing to do with you. I know you're hurt, but don't become a bully because of it.
Easton walked off, and I thought about what he said. Maybe Elise wasn't trying to hurt me, and her falling for Easton was just a coincidence. Maybe I could just be happy for her. So that week, I did everything I could to make things right with people. I volunteered to help as many kids as I could with homework, and they'd know I wasn't a monster. And I apologized to Elise and Easton, and surprisingly, they forgave me. On Friday night, Elise and Easton were celebrating their 1-month anniversary at the beach. So I told Elise I'd deliver them a picnic basket. But when I got there, Elise was sitting alone in the sand, and she was crying. Hey, what's wrong? Where's Easton?
He's not here, Layla. He's not coming.
Did you guys break up?
No, because we never dated. It was all fake. I even paid Easton monthly and used up all my savings. I wanted to make you jealous.
Wait, what? I don't understand.
I thought that after my surgery, people would start treating me differently because my face looked better. I thought I'd finally get as much attention as you. But because my distortion isn't totally fixed, I didn't. And that made me angry. But I can't do this to you anymore. I feel horrible.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Elise kept apologizing, but I couldn't even look at her. I didn't want revenge. I just didn't want to deal with her anymore. Things completely changed between us after that. My sister and I both cut contact with Easton and became strangers to each other. It broke my heart, but I didn't know what else to do. We were toxic for each other. Before we knew it, high school ended, and we both went our separate ways. A couple of years later, I was walking around my university campus when I got a phone call.
Layla, it's Easton. I know we haven't spoken in years, but I need your help. My parents lost their house and are homeless. I'm doing everything I can to help them, but I'm desperate. I'm calling everyone I know for either money or food.
My stomach was in knots. I still hated Easton for what he did, but he was obviously in a crisis. So I bought a bunch of food and clothes and arrived at the homeless shelter.
God, you're an angel. I can't thank you enough.
I'm not doing this for you. It's for your parents. And I never want to see you after this. Do you understand?
Yes, what I did to you was unforgivable. Can I just tell you one thing? I never wanted to go through with Elise's fake dating plan. The only reason I agreed to it was because my family's been struggling since I was a kid. I was always terrified we'd end up living on the streets. It's still no excuse, especially because I was in love with you.
My head started spinning. I had no idea Easton had been suffering that much, and I had no idea that he loved me. I decided it was time to smooth things over. That night, I went right home and convinced my parents to give Easton's family a loan, and then I asked if they could invite Elise for dinner.
Oh, sweetie, that's a wonderful idea. She's doing well these days, but she talks about you a lot.
For some reason, I was happy to hear that. When Elise came over, she immediately ran to hug me.
Layla, I'm so glad you're here. Actually, I got you some presents.
Elise handed me a huge gift bag, and to my shock, she bought me all kinds of expensive presents. Perfume, jewelry, and even a brand new iPad.
None of this makes up for how I've treated you over the years. But I love you, Layla. And if you ever want to have a relationship, I'm here.
Thanks, Elise. That means a lot. You did really hurt me. But it has been a couple of years. I can't forgive you overnight. but this is a good start.
I also know you got in touch with Easton. If you ever want to date him, you have my blessing. It's a possibility. But
first, I want to make things right with you. Though, of course, Elise invited Easton over later and left us alone on our porch.
I'm really glad you and Elise made up. Do you think you can ever forgive me? Layla, I never really got over you.
Wow, I didn't know that. But it will take me some time to trust you again.
I understand that. I'm willing to wait as long as it takes.